Welcome to Legends of Grayskull, the podcast that dives deep into the mythology of Masters of the Universe, with your hosts Matthew Dooch and Shawn Scavarna. News, reviews, remasterings and more are just ahead on Legends of Grayskull.
Hello everybody and welcome to Legends of Grayskull, the fan podcast where we discuss the history, the mystery, the magic and mythology of He-Man, She-Ra, Eternia, Etheria, Nordor, Primus, New Adventures, Old Adventures, Ladybird, UK Annuals, comics, mini-comics, anything and everything you can think of with that He-Man, She-Ra, Masters of the Universe, Princess of Power, that Netflix logo down in the corner. I'm Matthew Dooch, here again with Shawn Scavarna. Shawn, how are we doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Matt? We got a change of locale for Matt this episode.
We are all over the place. We are almost off-world even, but not quite. We're still talking He-Man, She-Ra, everything around there. But yes, I'm on the road, Shawn's at home, and we have with us our wonderful guest host, all the way from Legends of Grayskull, OffWorld. Just shelve it on YouTube and Instagram. Painter extraordinaire, Cabal sensation, soon to be Legion Shop sensation. That's a lot of S's. Jesse Arnold, ladies and gentlemen, is down below us. How are we doing tonight, Jesse?
Hi, hello. I'm doing fine, and apparently the dogs I'm house sitting this week, I guess haven't heard me speak out loud in a while, and they're freaking out.
Which is funny because we just did like a whole 27-minute set up bullshit in chat, and the dogs were fine, but they're like, "Oh, he said record now? Okay, we got to get in there."
Someone
the Chappelle
probably
show.
closed the door out on the street.
Oh. Good times. This is what happens. This is real, man. This is real life.
Yeah.
We don't edit much, but we're here.
Legends of Grayskull, where people come to get real.
Absolutely.
Hashtag real talk.
Hashtag best life.
Yeah. So I'm on the road. Jesse's house sitting, and Shawn is stuck at home with all his wonderful toys.
Still playing. I'm still paying the mortgage on Grayskull. So yeah, I got to stick close to home.
But I have some toys.
Look at that.
Just going to ask, where does he get those wonderful toys?
Well, for episode 89, it's only, it's valid. It's valid.
Oh, there's nothing like ripping that tape off a BBTS box. And I lost my advertisement. It's over there now. Just a little something that came before I left, and I decided to throw it in here. I think it's me. Whenever I talk, it's when the dogs go wild. Puppies.
I'm going to mute myself for a second here.
Alright, well, when you're ready to unmute, I need to know these dogs' names so that we can have a heart-to-heart. Alright? I'm not as scary as I sound. Maybe that's the difference, because I've gone into my podcast voice now instead of my normal voice. So maybe that's scaring Mutt and Charlie.
You got the ringmaster thing going on right now. Yep.
Well, the thing is, I've got an earbud in. They can't hear you.
I don't know, man. I got
dogs.
My wife is usually at least a floor away whenever we podcast, but she swears she hears every word that I say. So, I mean, I don't know. I might just have one of those voices.
I mean, the one that's barking a lot, this isn't his normal house. It's my friend's parents' dog. So if either one of them barks, it sets the other one off. So.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So Big Bad Toy Store mail call. Nothing too special, but, you know, I figured I was going to be away for a while. We're going to record. Let's bring it with me. So first up, I did get my Lord Dragool that had been sitting in the pile of loot for a while. So I'll rip him up and play with him a little bit. Probably definitely going to be going the alternate head on him. Although I do like that helmet with the dragon topper. I may have to play around with that on something else. But I don't think I want it for him. And then I got and I haven't bought any of these yet, but I had to support my boy. I got the Funko Soda, the Snout Spout. This is it's a soda can, for those who don't know, and it's got like a little figure inside. Limited to 8,000 pieces, and there is a chase version. I don't remember what the chase version, what the
2000X.
It's probably metallic.
Yeah, it's usually like a glitter or a flocking, I think, but on Snout Spout I couldn't remember what it was. So I did buy 2 in the hopes of grabbing a chase and a regular, and then I can be done. So let's pop one of them open and see what I got. And I know if nothing else, it comes with like a little like pog or something that says it's the chase. So if it is the chase, I'll know it, even though I don't remember what the difference is.
They both come with the little pog thing.
Yeah, and and one of them will say chase on it. I've seen with the other.
Yeah.
Ones. So
I have a couple of those.
It is. Oh, is it bubble wrap? Yeah, so it's bubble wrapped. It's in a black bag. That's pretty nice. That's actually a hefty little figure here. And here he is. This guy does look a bit shiny. I don't know if that's... I found the chase! Look at that!
Huzzah!
So yeah, apparently...
That was easy.
Shiny, and this pog does have like little sparkles around him. So
look at that.
Got an Instagram filter on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's assuming I got a regular, because the chase is not like a 1 or anything, I know that. But yeah, it's a nice little representation. They're bigger than I thought they were. He's got the backpack, he's got his axe, and he's got that little pincer that the 2000X came with. They are stationary figures. No, Steven, you cannot move any of the arms or anything. So.
As he found out. Yeah.
So let's see about this other one, and if I got a regular version. Wait, wouldn't that be something to get like 2 chases and then have to go like hunt down the regular version? What are the odds?
I will be amused, because it's the odds of the first one working out the way that you hoped is pretty nuts to begin with.
Nope, he is definitely a
there you go.
A flat. Yeah,
Look
see,
at
you
that.
can really see the difference in the shine with the 2
filter, no filter.
Right, exactly. That's all it is. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. There is a little difference. The regular does not have the 2000X pincer, so there is a sculpt.
The colors are different too.
Well, yeah, it's all shiny on the.
Because it's darker on his gloves.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's because. Yeah, and the backpacks look a little different shade too. I think that's because of the shininess. I mean, as far as sculpts, like that's.
He's missing the jaws of life.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. That and no sparkles on his pog. So there is a little something. I thought it was literally just like a shiny, not shiny type thing. So there is a little bit of a difference there. So that's pretty.
That's
cool.
Fun. I'm always going to call Snout Spout Sparkles now. Sparkles. Because it's little sparkles.
So yeah, so the metallic Snout Spout is 1 out of 1,300, and the regular is 1 out of 6,700. So roughly 2/3 to 1/3. So that's pretty good. Bought 2, got my chase and my regular, and I'm happy.
Drop the mic, go home.
Yep, I'm out.
There you go.
I don't need any more of these. What about you guys? You guys have anything? I know, Jesse, you're out of place, but yeah, you guys pick up anything new, interesting, anything cool?
I got an order in at Wolf King today.
Oh yeah, they got their sale going on. Wolf King Customs, check them out. Maybe I'll drop a link down below. Help them out.
And I believe the sale runs for a week.
Yeah.
And it's all pre-order, so it's going to take a couple weeks for them to print everything and get everything out. It's by order. There's a couple items that were like in stock, ready to ship, but
painted pieces.
Then they were limited.
Are limited.
Yeah. But yeah, you got a lot of Jeremy Gerard's Animal Critter stuff that's back in there. Steve Rashadi and Emma Wickman have a bunch of new stuff in there. Len's got some new stuff in there. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff.
Absolutely. If you're into the Mythic Legions compatible stuff, you should absolutely be checking out Wolf King Customs. Shawn, how about you? Pick up anything new, interesting?
I've had to be good lately, and that's just the way of life right now. But I will admit, going under the Wolf King Customs thing real quick, the Gladiator or the Spartan helmet that Emil and Steve did is definitely, I keep eyeing that one up, and that one's sexy. I think I'm gonna have to find a way to make that happen for me before the sale is over, because that's just cool. And then I'll be bugging Jesse, hey, can you paint it for me? So
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So
stay tuned.
Yeah, like the fact I got two Vitus, I figure I might as well make one of them look a little different, Why not? So perfect timing.
Absolutely. That fixes the scare rabbit. And I've actually been good too. All those have been sitting in my pile for a while, and Lord Dragul expired. I had to ship him, so I might as well ship the snouts at the same time. So I'm trying to be good. We got a lot of stuff going on. So, but man, there is so much stuff coming out right now. Yeah, real quick, I didn't pull pictures or anything, but you guys have seen them. New Eternia Beastman is hitting Target shelves. Oh, if I see one of those, that's a sexy figure right there. I don't know. I've been trying to kind of hold off and space them out, but that is a neat figure. I know we've seen in-package shots of the newest Masterverse wave, the She-Ra, the Hordak, Catra, and then the CGI, the He-Man and Skeletor. Is there anything for you? For me, CGI He-Man Skeletor or that new Eternia He-Man and Skeletor. Like if I see those at stores, retail, I gotta grab those. Is there anything for you guys right now? It doesn't have to be the Masters necessarily, Jesse. I know you're not as deep as the rest of us, but that is if I see that at retail, I must grab that.
For the Masterverse stuff, I'm sticking pretty much just to the Revelation line.
Gotcha.
So I'm still looking for the classic Tila.
Oh yeah, with the sexy
from that wave.
The sexy hair Tila, yeah.
But that's the only one I'm missing from that line, besides the exclusive Scareglow or whatever. But yeah. Nice. Other figure wise, I mean, I've been dropping off of so many because most of the ones, they're not complete, but they're complete enough for me, except for a couple things here and there. But yeah,
for me,
it's a good time to be into a different line that's going to be absorbing a lot other money and to be stepping away from these other ones.
No, I gotcha. I'm mainly Mythics and Masters now. Like that's, I can't think of anything else that really pulls me to where I've got to get it.
Shawn, that sounds like a good name for a podcast. Mythics and Masters. Oh my God, this is not good. For me, it's always gonna be. I really love those CGI figures, and the funny thing is, I showed the the photos of the in-package photos that have been making the rounds in the last week or so to my son, and the first words out of his mouth are, "Do I get to play with them?" And I'm like, "No, those are mine. I bought you the other one." He's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, so that's going to be interesting when I get them in the house. I think he's going to snag them before I get a chance.
Absolutely. So. And did you see how big those things are in the package?
Yeah, like they take up a lot of that package.
They fill that window for all those guys that are like, "Oh man, I remember when He-Man in the 80s, he was the biggest figure in the aisle," and he was. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
But man, and that's what I keep saying with that CGI show. I'm like, it feels like Masters to me. It's not a carbon copy at all, not even close.
No.
But the feel is there where you look at those guys in the same size package as the Revelation stuff. And I love the Revelation stuff. I love the new Eternia stuff. But like, man, it's like those guys fill out the package. Those are going to look amazing on the shelf.
Agreed. Yeah, just the articulation alone and the fact that it looks like they walked right off the TV screen. I mean, when we were kids, we had, here's how Mattel envisioned it, here's how Filmation did it. Yep. And even as a kid, I always had that, like, I wouldn't have minded if they did a Filmation line when I was younger to go, okay, this is the TV version, but there's also the original version, and just have it be a little like how Classics did it. But no, like I absolutely love those figures. I love that show. So, and honestly, like again, it's the I have to be good situation no matter what. But there is that. If I saw the new Eternia ones, those actually have grabbed my attention more than the Revelation figures, because it is kind of nice that they're going off the off the trail a little bit. They're doing a little something different this time around. So if I found those, He-Man, Skeletor, and Beastman would definitely be on the list, because I like the Beastman. I got the fur this time around, and he looks beefier.
He's a whole new sculpt. They said with the in-hand guys. They said it's not just the Revelation Beastman with armor. He is a whole new Beastman. So it's fun. It's doing what Classics did. It's taking these characters and giving them something a little new, a little different,
Yeah.
Whereas Classics was just the added detail to get them to the figure we felt we were playing with. These guys are like, well, let's see what new we can put in here while retaining kind of the core. Whereas Revelation is great, but essentially that's just kind of an upgrade of our classic, He-Man, Skeletor. But Eternia is just kind of fun and new and exciting, so... Good stuff.
Except for Jitsu, unfortunately. We already talked about him. He's like the least excitable.
But they did new stuff with him. They did new stuff. I think they missed the mark on that one. And Zodak too, honestly, I feel Zodak is a little plain, as you know what I mean. Like they didn't. They really played it safe with what they added to him.
They did, but the thing is, just that figure, even in the photos that we saw, that still had me geek out a bit better than seeing how Jitsu just looked like random minion number 10. Like there was something about that just didn't click as like this is an actual individual figure like Jitsu used to be. And Zodak still has a little bit of that going for him that I still appreciate the new way they did it. Agreed. And plus he's got a holster now. So hey, after all this time, the poor guy's been holding that gun for 40 years.
I hope he comes with space baby powder, though, because that thing is going to be chafing on that bear skin all day long. He is going to you got to prep, all right?
If PowerCon was still a He-Man centric convention instead of an all toy show, like they did the Mossman.
No, that was San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego, but still, it was like that was the Mattel thing. They brought that there, and that was their shtick for that year. If Mattel was still in this like that, it would have been funny to have. And here's the baby powder. They give you the baby powder for
Mattel.
Cosmic baby powder.
Call me Mattel. We'll make stuff happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's wake Jesse up here, because I know he is. You know what? we have a good friend of the show, right? Currently the most guest hosted host. Yeah, we'll go with that. In Legends of Grayskull history, Matthew Rodriguez is still running his Kickstarter for Modern Wonders Issue 2. Check that out in the link down below. Please support him if you're able. There is the catch-up bundle in there. So if you missed issue 1, you can get right back there. You can get not only that, but I think it includes most, if not all, of the other books from the Ideas from Mars universe. He's got some good stuff. So check it out. Really affordable independent comic. It's good stuff. There is going to be a character that I helped create in an upcoming issue. So, and if you want to create your own character, that is a tier reward in this Kickstarter as well. So, lots of fun. Good guy. Check it out. And for those guys that listened all the way through last episode and took the time to help share that, we are going to be giving away to one of the lucky gentlemen a copy of the Power in the Honor Foundation book. So, which, Jesse, do you know about this book?
I do not.
Okay, this is the Power in the Honor Foundation. That is a not-for-profit started by Emiliano Santalucia and Joshua Van Pelt. And that what they did is they set out to find all this concept art, early documents, unused concepts, prototype, just all this stuff from the history of Masters, and they put a lot of it into this book, which was supposed to be the first in a series. Unfortunately, Mattel kind of stepped in and put the kibosh on it, but we still have this one excellent volume that just has all sorts of information, unused artwork, prototypes, and everything. Very rare. We're giving away a copy for free today. You guys want to do that now?
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make them wait even longer. We'll get to this later.
Oh. We gotten dooched.
You have.
It's not duped, it's dooched.
I have to string Skelly Vader along for a little bit longer because he's already been bugging me on the messenger about who won it. So, Skelly, it's not time yet, but you're in the running.
Just like Skeletor and Filmation curses.
Yeah. So we will get to that in a little bit. Check out Modern Wonders down below.
Not me, the link to the thing.
Yeah, below it. So go to Jesse, and then go a little further.
Yep.
And then click on that there. I think there's about, it's at least a week left. Maybe 10 days? I don't know. I could have looked it up, but no.
You're on vacation?
No, I am not on vacation.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's
not. I'm just kidding.
That's right. I'm actually at, I'm in Connecticut right now for Shop the Curiosity, and I just bought 50 thistlethorns.
Nice.
That are on the other side of the bed there. No.
And the next sound you'll hear, listeners, is Jesse somehow beaming himself through the Wi-Fi to jump onto Matt for this.
What are all these PMs I'm getting?
I have one thistlethorn, and that's all the thistlethorns I need.
I have no thistlethorns currently, unfortunately.
I have no thistlethorn.
Hopefully they'll keep pulling out some deep cuts like that to upcoming conventions. So let's get into it. First off, before we jump into the news today, this is Jesse's first time on Legends of Grayskull, and so for all of our first-timers, we kind of want to figure out who you are as a Masters fan, and you know where you started, how's it going, where you're at today, especially with you, because I know we've off-worlded a lot, but I know Masters isn't your first and foremost. So kind of just give us the brief bullet points here, like when you first got into Masters, did you stray away from it, and what brought you back?
So, I mean, I was prime target age for the toys and the cartoon in the 80s. I mean, I'm right there with Shawn.
Yep.
I didn't know about the mini comics. I mean, I guess I got them in some of the figures maybe, but like,
right.
I didn't want to read. I wanted to play with toys, so.
Hear that, Mattel?
So between the cartoon and the figures, and I think I had some like sticker books or something that you could like.
Oh yeah.
They had like the story. You could put the stickers in and the story and stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was a thing up through, I guess, the late 80s. He-Man was still, I mean, a part of my childhood, and then, you know, Turtles kind of took over, and then after Turtles comics.
So real quick, so did you have a lot of the figures, a few figures? Like, was it, when you were in it, was it your primary focus, or was it just kind of like, oh yeah, I had some of those?
It wasn't my primary, I mean, because between that, it was probably the toys I had the most of in that time period. I had some Transformers, but they were a little more expensive.
Right.
So I had a couple of those. I mean, I was all over the place, so I had little bits of everything, but I definitely had a lot of Master stuff as a kid. I mean, I had Castle Grayskull, I had Stridor and Night Stalker and the Birds, lots of stuff. I had a lot of it, and then my stepdad had me sell it for my college fund. I think somewhere between 11 and 13-ish, maybe. Sure. And I had one of those red wagons that had like the wood sides that you could like take out, filled with stuff. Now they weren't complete; they were well played with, but I don't think any of them were like really damaged or anything. I got $50 for the whole wagon full of them, which kind of hurts a little bit now.
Oh yeah.
Knowing what they go
we've
for.
We've all been there.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I've picked a couple like original figures up here and there just to have. I think I have Man at Arms and Stinkor, who 40 years later still smells like patchouli.
Yep. If you want to recharge them, just
beautiful.
Put them in a Ziploc bag for about a week, and it really amps back up again.
I don't want to recharge it. But yeah, I got it from the one toy store that Shawn and I hit up from time to time, secondhand place. It's a really cool store. He had it. I think it was there, or a toy show. I don't remember now. But yeah, I had a lot of them. I played with them a lot, you know, and this will probably make the guys on Everybody But Travis lose their mind on. My wife is going to kill me if they listen to this, that I mixed my toys up all the time when I played.
Sure. Like, all us normal kids did.
Yeah. Like I don't remember when Shawn and I, when we first started hanging out, I mean, we were young enough that we were still playing with the figures and stuff, like when we'd hang out. Yep. I don't remember what we did, but I think we were playing with Transformers, and we were using like the Star Wars guys as people, even though they weren't the right size.
Yeah.
And I think we even had some of the Master stuff in there with them too, just to make stuff, you know, good times, just making crazy adventures. That's what
we did all sorts of stuff. I know when I was a kid, I mixed and matched. I had Star Wars figures that I played Doctor Who with. Because I didn't have Doctor Who figures, but I was watching Doctor Who on the weekends, and I wanted to play Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So Masters, I guess, like into like middle school, high school years, I fell away from it just because for my level of looking for stuff, there wasn't anything new for it.
Right, there wasn't.
And I was aware of the 2000X show when it came out, and I caught a couple episodes here and there, but I was in college, and we didn't have cable on the campus.
Yeah.
So like if I happened to be at someone's house and they didn't want to watch sports or something, you know, I'd catch an episode here and there. And then it just kind of completely went off my radar as a thing. And then when I learned about classics from Shawn a couple of years ago, I think I was working at Toys R Us when for one Christmas season when some of the DC 2-packs were out, maybe. Because I do remember seeing those on the shelves and thinking that was a really weird combination.
Yeah, I remember seeing those on sale for like $15. And I was like, I'm good. They're like different colors, and what am I gonna do with a DC guy? And you talk about regret seeing those go for a minimum of $50 a pop. Now it's like, oh yeah.
So I knew Shawn was into the classics, and I was always really impressed whenever I'd go over to his place and see that wall of awesome behind him there.
Absolutely.
And especially when I saw like the Battle Lion and like the some of those other designs that I was completely unaware of. I just thought they were really cool. And that was probably the first time he ever said anything about the Four Horsemen. Not to circle back to all that.
And
I found one of the.
Everything comes back to the Four Horsemen.
It does.
Everything does.
All roads lead to Little Falls, New Jersey, or whatever it is.
7 degrees of the Four Horsemen. That's.
And I found the Sorceress Staction at that toy shop I was just talking about.
Yeah.
And I think I passed that on to you, Shawn, didn't I?
Yeah, it's out of the camera, but she's up on the top with my 2000X display up there.
Nice.
Because I think I moved on from her when I actually got the Classics Filmation style Sorceress. And then over the last, I guess, 2 years ago or so, or whenever the Kevin Smith announced that that news came out. I mean, I was always paying attention to the news about a He-Man movie for the last, 15 whatever years. I would always, that would catch my interest. I'm like, cool, I'd like to see that,
I think that's at its about 20th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
It was right around the time of the cartoon, so. Yeah.
So yeah, and then the Revelation, I was really looking forward to that. And this is actually my second time on Legends of Grayskull proper. I was on your Happy Revelation Eve.
Oh, you were on
the
Revelation Eve special. Yes, you were. You are correct.
Well, that was a special though. This is legit.
You were guest starring on that. This is guest hosting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
this is the first time you've hosted.
Corrected.
Yeah. That was just you showing up at the door in the middle of our Revelation Eve dinner.
Please, sir, can I be on your show?
So, no right or wrong answer, but have you ever revisited the Filmation series, New Adventures, or have you ever ended up watching all of Mike Young Productions?
I think I still have it. I bought a DVD of it was a best of Masters of the Universe at Walmart for $5 or something years ago. And I remember putting that on. I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s when I found it, and I was just like, man, this show does not hold up.
Blasphemy.
I mean, the child in me still loves it, but just the reset every episode, all the things that I know.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just there was never progression with stuff.
For the most part, no. There's a few here and there, but nothing.
But
there's no big overarching story. No, that's not how it was back then.
I don't remember ever seeing anything about the new Eternia stuff.
New Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And Mike Young, have you ever?
Is that the 2000X stuff, or is
yes, sorry,
yep.
Yes, that's the cartoon series.
I started watching it last year or earlier this year, but the quality of it on YouTube on my TV was so bad it was really hard to enjoy it.
Shawn, will you let the man borrow your DVDs? What is wrong with you?
He didn't tell me that was the problem. I don't know. I'll bring him over next time.
I think, plus I've gotten into like the customizing, and a lot of my free time has gone into stuff that I put stuff on like that I want to like put on and pay attention to. So I want to make sure I give it the attention it deserves and not just background noise. So I will get to it eventually, especially if Shawn has the DVDs I can borrow.
Yep, they're here. I will
I
will bring it over next time.
I'll trade you the Northman for a couple weeks.
Deal. I'm in. Let's do it.
No, for everything. Now that's exactly it. Now for us, Mike Young Production, it took a lot of the love of Filmation, but it added in the progression, the overarching story, as well as being episodic. Really well done. Was really hitting its stride when it was canceled, unfortunately. I will say,
what I've seen of it, I absolutely loved. I loved the look. I loved the design, the style. Like what I did see, I liked that it was like a more modern style storytelling with progression and all that stuff. So I really liked what I saw of it.
Right.
I just didn't get to watch it.
We'll get you there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I will say I disagree with that best of set. There are some episodes on there that are best of. I'd be curious down the road for me and Shawn to put together our best of, because I feel there's a lot of good episodes in Filmation that were left off of there. And really, we've got whole episodes dedicated to our favorites that are never even discussed a lot. With that series having had 130 episodes, it's really, it's overwhelming even for me. I have sat through and gone beginning to end once in my fandom, but I don't think even I could ever do that again. Like, that's not, like you said, it's 130 episodes. There's no overarching story. There's no progression for the most part. Like, it is hard to sit through 130 episodes of anything, I feel. So that is definitely one where you kind of gotta get some recommendations. So, but maybe down the road we'll get you like 5 episodes to be like, this is essential Filmation.
And I'll say this again, I loved it growing up. There's still a special place in my heart for it, but same for like the Transformer stuff, and a lot of those cartoons of that era, they were, a lot of them were that way. Like,
oh, for sure.
So like when I say it doesn't hold up, I just mean to modern standards, but like it still holds, like all of those do. So I have the same opinion of the Transformers and G.I. Joe and all that stuff from back then. So.
It's hard to get through. There are those episodes where you're just like, man, why am I watching this? Like this one should have stayed then. But it's kind of cool when you look back through and you can kind of see the progression from He-Man. And then Transformers, they kind of started introducing that progression in a little bit. They weren't always, their continuity wasn't airtight, but they kind of started introducing some more of that, multi-parters, even just some stuff carrying over. And then you get into the stuff, with that Bruce Timm did in the 90s and everything, or even Spider-Man and X-Men, where it's like, okay, now we're just going like full season arcs here. So it's just kind of cool seeing that progression throughout our lives to where, where we went from a time where toys couldn't even have cartoons to, for me personally, the cartoons being more important to me than the toys at the end of the day. I've said many times, and I know I'm the oddball out a lot of times, but I've said many times where if I had to choose between keeping the show or keeping the toys, I'd go with the show because that's what resonates with me more. But
for me, if that was the case, 2000X, I'd hand over my toys gladly as long as I had 2 more seasons or 3 more seasons, because that was firing really nicely on all cylinders, like you were saying, and then what could have been, Yeah, so
that brings us to modern day. Revelation, the series, comes out. How do you feel about Revelation Season 1, Parts 1 and 2?
I really enjoyed them. Now, I mean, I do have some critiques, some minor criticisms, but overall, I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the animation style.
Sure.
For the most part, I think all the voice cast is really good. I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of obviously not to your guys' level, but it's reignited my, interest in He-Man and Masters in a way that I've been waiting, a long time to have something to grab me back in that I have the ability to watch and enjoy.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Have you checked out any of the CGI series, the new one?
I did watch the first season. I did really enjoy that. I keep forgetting to check out the season 2 again because I want to actually watch it.
Sure.
But no, it is on my list of stuff to continue on with.
Nice. So, that brings us to June 8th at 6:02 p.m. I saw it first on Facebook. But they have announced Masters of the Universe Revolution coming soon to Netflix. Here is their official announcement off Facebook and Twitter. Announcing Masters of the Universe Revolution. He-Man and Skeletor face off like you've never seen them before in a new series that picks up where Masters of the Universe Revelation left off. And we were treated to this lovely artwork of the Power Sword with King Randor's crown on top of it, laying on the ground with the ghost visage of Skeletor hovering over it. So, boys, what did we think when we heard / saw this announcement?
Can't wait.
I think my initial reaction was, okay, they went there. Like, that was our biggest question. Is there going to be a season 2? And it's like, okay, there's a season 2 that's on its way now.
So that's interesting, right? Well, first off, same thing. I'm like, all right, they're doing it because we've done all our reviews. I'm not going to rehash all of that right here. You guys can go listen to it. But, I've said my criticisms. I've said what I liked. But at the end of the day, I think we even talked about this last episode with Rodriguez on. Yes, I want to see more in this world. And so yeah, I'm excited that we are getting more in this world. I do find it interesting that they are announcing this as a 5-episode mini-series. I think a lot of this, let's just take the gloves off. I think a lot of this is in response to the fan reaction of last time. We've had Mark Hamill, Griffin Newman, and Tony Todd all tease that they have recorded dialogue already for this. We've now had Kevin Smith come out and say that he has seen animatics, which are the early kind of rough animation drawings, no soundtrack or anything, not final, But so we're at animatics already. He said he's turned in the final revision for episode 5 of the script. So we are obviously so much farther along in the process than we were when they started Revelation. I mean, Shawn, we had a whole year of podcasting where we were like, what is going on? They announced that PowerCon, and it was at least a good solid year before we got any more info on it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I definitely think that the fan reaction that loud portion of the fan base is definitely shaping how they're approaching this now. Do you guys?
You mean in holding back until there's more done?
Yeah, waiting for the announcement till there was more done, and even how they're announcing it, right? Because 5 episodes is small, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's normally 10. However, remember, even one of my biggest criticisms of the first one was the fact that they split it up. So I'm liking the fact that they're coming out and going, no, this one is just 5 episodes. I don't personally think that they only have 5 episodes planned, but I'm hoping this is their way of going, no, we're writing this more for the 5 episode arc.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said it during the reviews, I really think watching that first 5 left me with a completely different feeling than watching all 10. And it doesn't feel like that first. Well, we can just say Revelation because they are tweaking the title. We got Revolution for the second season. So Revelation, I really feel, was written as a 10-episode arc. And splitting it up, I felt hurt it more than it helped it. So I'm hoping that them saying this is a 5-episode miniseries is them going, hey, let's just write for the 5 episodes that, we're going to release at once, and then kind of, even just kind of see where this is going. See if this, if this is a better way to go about it. You know what I mean?
Well, the hope for me, at least, is I would like to see a little more streamlined storytelling, because one of my critiques with Revelation was some of the stuff came out of left field, and suddenly that became a focus, and it felt like it diminished some of the stuff I was excited to have as the spotlights of the miniseries and all that. So if they do 5 episodes, I'm hoping it makes it a more focused storytelling, and we aren't going off into left field with Evelyn suddenly deciding that everything needs to go away because she's a nihilist and all this stuff. Like, let's just tell a story. It's like, that's what everybody was saying leading up to Revelation. Let's tell a story. Let's tell a story of, here's an action adventure story, and let's just do it with the Masters characters in that way. And I hope this is their chance to do that and not have it get bogged down.
Right.
But we'll see.
So we got the picture here. So we got the crown and the sword and Skeletor looming over. So thoughts about where this plot is going?
My first thought when I saw the poster is at some point during this series, probably early on, or the 5 episodes, that Randor is going to die, and He-Man or Adam is going to have to take up the mantle as king and then juggle King and He-Man.
Yep. Nope. I agree with you absolutely, and that's kind of going back to Eternity War that DC Comics published. When was that? Around 2012? 2015?
It's been at least a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while now. But yeah, that whole comic was kind of that. It was kind of both parts of it. It was the fall of Eternia at the hands of the Horde that time, and Randor dying and He-Man having to struggle with that concept of, all right, well, now I'm a king, but Eternia also needs its champion. It had Teela assuming the role of the sorceress. It had a lot of the elements that Revelation already had. That was probably the big one that was missing from Eternity War in Revelation, was Adam kind of having to step up and become the king. Now, I personally hope that they don't kill Randor. I've had enough killing. If they have to, I get it, but I think they can also do it where, Randor can be captured and held for held by Skeletor. Let's get back to some Masters goodness. Like, I guess for me, especially nowadays, like, the death of these characters is just so permanent. So, to me, you gotta make it worthwhile, if that makes sense. Instead of just, hey, let's kill some characters here, let's kill some characters there. I get it, war, senseless violence, like, it happens, but we're telling stories here. Let's kind of, let's make it matter more. If they have to die, they have to die, but not everybody has to die, in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I was rewatching part 2 this afternoon of Revelation, and I'm not like a huge fan of Clamp Champ and Fisto,
yes,
but I feel like they got done so dirty. Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's senseless, especially Fisto and Clamp Champ. Absolutely. Yeah,
like, I was like, when they got turned into the Skeleton Warriors, I was just like, like, that's a horrible.
Yeah.
Like good storytelling, horrible, and then
right.
And then Skeletor's like, I've got their souls. Now they're Eternia.
Well, and that's it. It's like, I was really excited when that scene happened. I'm like, oh, they got changed. Oh, how are they gonna turn them back? Oh, this is gonna be so. They gotta fight them, and they don't want to kill them because they're their friends. And oh no, wait, they just killed them. Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Whereas, in the same series, bigger character to me, the Sorceress, like, I get that. Skeletor took control of Grayskull. He killed the Sorceress. Like, alright, it makes sense, and it's necessary for Teela to fulfill her journey. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, the Clamp Champion, like, I'm done with that, just like, let's just sucker punch the audience type kills.
Well,
I would say. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, all I was going to say was we were just talking about how Filmation never progressed the story very often.
Yeah.
So it is, at least if that is what they do, I will be somewhat like, wow, they did it, and not wow, they did it when Superman snapped Zod's neck, because that was completely what the crap that just happened, and I'm sitting in the movie theater going, no. In this case, it's like you already have Randor knowing the secret finally, Randor actually creating a better and positive relationship with his own son, and starting to create a better relationship with Marlena, with how all that panned out. That there is a part of me going, he could die, and at least he knows these things, and he dies in a way where it's okay to move on from that now after they've resolved a lot of that stuff in the last show. There is, Randor for me is always like, he's there, but he's not. He's like 2000X and Revelation did a pretty good job of making him an interesting character. But he's never been somebody that I feel is a pivotal character that you need to always have around. He's not like Alfred the Batman something like that,
But he's also kind of primed to finally be that character, right? Because he's not in the dark anymore. He's not. He knows all the cards on the table. He knows who his son really is. And yes, they took the first steps towards that relationship in Revelation. But, like, now's our opportunity to take that and really become, and so that's why I think it'd be even more senseless, because, like, honestly, at the end of the day, Sorceress, with the decisions she's made, and rightly so, protect the universe, serve Grayskull, all that, her and Teela are, no matter what, we're never going to have that relationship. It was always going to end this way, where Sorceress has to hand the mantle over to her. Whereas I think Adam and Randor, they really have an opportunity to grow as a father-son. And so to kill him right off here would just be like, and we finally got there, and nope, nothing.
Well, from the way I'm looking at it, though, is I kind of dig it on a level of it's got that weird thing about how life works. Life is not fair. Therefore, if you have this kind of a moment happen and you have, oh, hey, now Dad knows, and now this, and now that, and then all of a sudden something takes that person away from you, and you think all the time that you had to actually reveal yourself, all the time that it could have been. And I like, that would be one of those few things, because He-Man typically doesn't have a lot of that back and forth within him like that, where it is an interesting way maybe they could take the character this time around and do something a little more emotional than you might expect with him.
But didn't we just do that? Didn't we just do
that
with Randor losing Adam?
They did it with Randor, right. But in the other side of the coin, we didn't see Adam, because Adam it's like he walked right out of heaven, and it's like, oh, everything's different. Oh, crap. It was like Endgame, where everybody just shows back up and it's 5 years later. And that's fine. But, like, I don't know. I kind of like that idea, because there is this feeling of there is going to be a sacrifice that he makes by not letting his dad know up until then. And through all that time he spent playing the fool and playing the lazy Adam, and then going into the new one and him thinking, oh, we got it on the right foot now. We can be the way that I've always hoped we could be. And nope. And I kind of like that, to be honest. It gives him something to live up to, and thinking, I don't have my dad to give me the rules of how this works, and being a king, and him having to basically, he has a foundation, but build up who he is then as a king without Randor's guidance. I don't know. They went dark by killing how many characters in the last season? It really wouldn't shock me or surprise me, unless it's like a gory death. That's where I'd be like, holy crap, why did they have to do that to the poor guy?
I just think, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with that story, and that could be a very compelling story, but I just personally think if they take it and they make it more, Adam's got to step up on both fronts while trying to save his father. Then you've got that ticking clock there, right, of trying to save him and trying to save the kingdom and trying to protect Grayskull. And I think that could be a nice kind of like, all right, what do I do here? Like, I've been He-Man. I've been Lazy Adam. Now I've got to do everything at once. And we got, and I really think that kind of goes along with what we were saying about the Teela sorceress, about how, she's got to find her way and her destiny, and she's already kind of shirked some duties here, and how that's going to come back and potentially bite our heroes in the butt. And I think it just kind of fills into that, right? Where, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, am I what's my first priority? My country, my family, or Grayskull? That's what's the right answer? I don't even know.
Well, this could be where they throw the Orlax in finally, in a meaningful way. That's how they could do this.
He's cruising down the river.
Because we were complaining about how the prequels had nothing of interest to lead into the actual show. Well, we at least know the Orlax had something to do with Randor. So what if the Orlax now comes back and is like, wait a minute, I had a point to make. I will not be ignored. And then it turns into, this is the story they meant to tell in the prequel. Okay.
And I will say, just real quick, we've been down this rabbit hole before. If Jesse wants to speak on it, I will let him rant and rave. I will not. But I do hope they take this opportunity to explain some stuff. And it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be whole episodes. But I want them to tell us why Teela's different, why she was able to shirk the duty and still get the powers. And I want them to find a way to cap the whole everyone saying by the power of Grayskull. Or give a reason why. Something with that. Like, the Power Sword cannot continue to be this a WMD that anybody can wield and get infinite power. it should not work that way. Or if it is going to work that way, explain why it works that way. So I do hope they take this to kind of button up some of these concepts that they left open-ended in the first part, or in Revelation.
I think with the way they ended it, with the tease of, what was it, Motherboard, and Hordak and everything. I mean, that cues up. If it's a revolution, like, what's the revolution? Is it someone, throwing a revolution against Randor and that, or is it Eternia throwing a revolution against the Horde that has come in? Are we going to have, how big of a jump are we going to have between the end of that season and this miniseries? You could see that progression where, Adam and Randor have had time to build up that relationship. They're getting along well. When he has to go do He-Man stuff, instead of, I'm going to go take a nap and fish with Ranger, like, they'll know what he's doing, and, it can be kind of a, go get him Tiger kind of moment, except, not weird.
Well, he has a tiger. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
They can be supportive, and maybe that will, maybe seeing Adam do what he does as He-Man, and his father not having, like, that kind of stigma against him will, embolden Randor. Like, it definitely emboldened him in that second half of the season when they charge into battle and everything, so it'd be cool to see all that. And I don't necessarily want to see him die. I'd be okay if it was like a capture and rescue thing, unless it's like he makes a choice where it's like the sacrifice move, like what he does is saving someone or doing something heroic. That would be cool, and not just a villain sneaking up out of nowhere and stabbing him in the back or something.
Absolutely. No, and I'm interested too about the Revolution moniker that they've chosen. They do explicitly call out this is He-Man and Skeletor. I mean, they're again reacting to the negativity from before, I think, but they're definitely saying, like, hey, these 5 episodes we're getting He-Man versus Skeletor. Now, like you said, that whole kind of tag at the end of the first season really allow us to believe we begin the Horde this season. So, is this going to be an amped up technological Skeletor, or are we gonna cut to, like, our first scene in Snake Mountain is kind of the end of that scene with the tendrils going to him, and then Skeletor, like, blasting everything away and going, nope, sorry, not this time. And honestly, I would honestly be okay if that's what they did. If they were like, nope, you just thought that that's what happened. That's not really what happened. Skeletor blasted Motherboard to pieces right after that scene cut. And because I'm ready for some good old-fashioned He-Man Skeletor, and from this announcement, that's what we're supposed to be getting. So, I think it's well overdue. You bring him back for the first animated series in 20 years, and we did only get a handful of episodes with He-Man and Skeletor proper. So I do think it's time, and I would not mind the Horde coming in after this, but I think with He-Man and Skeletor back on the table, that this 5 episodes needs to be them.
Mm-hmm. I agree, because in the last one, I mean, I was not on the hater side of things by any means, but I could see why people weren't happy with a lot of the storytelling, for the fact that you hear Masters of the Universe, the first things you think of are He-Man and Skeletor, typically, depending on what your fandom is with it, I guess, and stuff, and who, but those are like the marquee names. So the fact that, the show did not give us a whole lot of that, I could see why people weren't thrilled. But that is an interesting thought, going, well, maybe we won't even touch on the Horde. Maybe that's for a 3rd season, and this now is just going to be a condensed, here's He-Man versus Skeletor, and It's the whole, we'll give you 5 episodes. It's going to be a concentrated dose of everything you guys complained about the first time around, and this is going to be what you've been waiting for. The one thing that I'm curious about, though, is it says in the press release about they're going to be a way we've never seen before. I don't remember the
like you've never seen before. I think
like you've never seen before. So that does make me go like, if they don't have like Techno Skeletor, and hopefully it would not just be New Adventure Skeletor revisited, it'd just be like a different take on Skeletor with the Horde aspect. And it's like, okay, well, they do have the new Eternia line coming out. What are the chances of it being more in that vein than the typical classic version of He-Man or something? Because that, granted, to me, it's like, grain of salt kind of deal sometimes, where they'll say something like that, and it's because the animation style is different, or it's because of the action being newer or something.
That's what I took it as, especially because
they're going to be rabbits.
They're on Plundor's world.
Most of what we saw in season 1 between them was, Skelegod and Adam, or He-Man and Skelegod, or you know what I mean? There was lots of... So I took it as just like we haven't seen them yet. Just He-Man, Skeletor, here we go. But, now that you say it, New Eternia, maybe that is Eternia after all this. Maybe this is what we build up to, where at the end of this, like you said, Randor's, whatever happens to him, He-Man steps up, he gets that new look, Skeletor becomes the more Demo Man, armored, even leading the Horde possibly on Eternia, like they're, he brings Beastman back into the fold and gives him that new armor, like that. I could see that happening. Zodak coming in, especially if there's a threat of the Horde. It seems like he would get involved. So I could definitely see them going down that road, even where maybe this is the bridge. Maybe that's why this is a 5-episode miniseries, where it's by the end of this, it's like they're at a spot where they upgrade to these new forms, and then the next part is Masters of the Universe and New Eternia, where they're, where we're going full into this future. I always took their New Eternia concept as kind of an alternate universe type thing, but it definitely could be a Marvel 2099 type thing. Well, next generation, whatever,
Yeah. Like right now, I think the biggest catchphrase in anything geek related is multiverse. Right. So the idea of, if they do something with this series that eventually leads to something like that, because they already did it in the comics.
Yep.
It would not surprise me, because that is, Marvel's finding out how that works. They're definitely making that work and have people interested in this concept, and it's not shying away people. And so it's like now everybody wants to have that version of it. That's the new end credits, basically. So, or after credits is what I should say. I don't know. I don't personally feel they need to go that route. I do look at that line as this is more of a creator homage than it is like this is what we want to do with the brand. But the name New Eternia to me kind of has that they feel like they're trying to do something more with this than just have it being we're just doing this in honor of the creators that came before us and stuff.
I think New Eternia is pretty going deep and fast, and they've got that logo and everything. I don't think this is just a let's kind of throw a little honorary mention to the past. I think this is definitely something they're looking into. I'm just not sure if it's going to tie into what they're doing on Netflix. As far as, if it's going to tie into Revelation, I think no matter what down the road, we will at least get a New Eternia, special, or maybe it has its own mini series or something. But yeah, I'm excited. I will say though, granted we don't know the story yet, but Revolution right now, I just feel it's kind of weak, and it's too similar to Revelation, which I think is gonna. I mean, you've heard me stumble over it this whole episode already. I'll throw one out there. As I got to think, I'm like, well, Matt, you can't just say that that's a bad name. Well, what would have been a better name? And I think they should have gone Masters of the Universe Redemption. I think that, especially with kind of the motif we're seeing with the crown, the sword, and Skeletor, we're at this point after, the fall of Eternia, basically, and how they're going to rebuild. So it's not only it's redemption for Adam, it could even be redemption for Skeletor taking over Snake Mountain again, and in the subtext is it's redemption for Netflix and the team as like, look, we can do this too. We just tried to do something new and different for Revelation, and not all of it hit, but we can redeem ourselves. We can get to He-Man and Skeletor, and we always wanted to get to He-Man and Skeletor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys? You guys have anything that you thought of?
I still think, even though I really liked Revelation, I'm not sure what the revelation was, other than that now Teela and his parents know who he is.
Well, I think it was supposed to be all the secrets, right? Because basically every big secret from the vintage era came out, right? The Castle Grayskull was the Hall of Wisdom transformed by the Elders. The Power Sword being the key to the power of Grayskull. Adam's secret identity. Teela's true heritage. So yeah, just kind of, to me, it was just all those things kind of rolled into one.
But it was just Revelation. It wasn't Revelations.
Right. It was the revelation of everything.
Yeah, it was singular, which is just nitpicky on my part. So I mean, until we see it, I don't know if Revolution, if it's going to be like I said before, an uprising kind of revolution. Is it going to be like a disc revolution or a wheel, going around? Because I had the thought about the multiverse, since they have the Masterverse line and all the different iterations. Are we going to see He-Man and Skeletor fighting through all the different iterations from Filmation to the mini comics?
No. No.
I'm not saying that's what I want.
We did that in comic form, and it did not end well. No, God, no.
So, I mean, who knows? I'm excited to see what it's going to do. Like I said, I really liked the artwork on the first seasons, the first 2 parts or whatever. I definitely think being a 5-part, and that they're definitely emphasizing it's a mini-series.
Yes.
Even though 10 episodes could still be considered a mini-series.
Right.
That it's definitely going to be a bridge between whatever comes next.
Right. And that's it. I agree. I think they definitely have something planned there, but they're trying to show, look, just concentrate on this. We're doing 5, and hopefully it will be tighter. It'll be more concise. It'll be a journey.
I did see that something came out since that announcement the other day that the odds of seeing She-Ra related stuff are small because of something with rights.
Yeah, Masters.
And who's got that?
DreamWorks holds the entertainment rights for She-Ra, so that's why the show that came out for She-Ra was not tied into anything. Yeah, I know they came out and said no, she's not going to be there. DreamWorks owns the rights, but DreamWorks owns the rights to a lot of characters that we've seen in forms that we weren't supposed to ever see. So I would still say never say never. I don't think we'll see it this next time. But
they did specifically say we won't see She-Ra, so maybe we'll see Adora.
Probably not, but...
Probably not. I'm just saying.
I think the She-Ra fans out there are at least happy to think that you're thinking that too, because, anything would be better than nothing, because I know they were harping on that for the first season, hoping that, you know, She-Ra. I think even Matt on the show even mentioned, you know, it'd be kind of cool to see if they send a message out to Etheria, we're in danger, He-Man's out of the game, we need help or whatever. And in this case, you know, I don't know, like for me, I'm just like that whole thing. I'm usually like, I don't even expect She-Ra at this point. It's Masters of the Universe in the title. Yes, she is a part of that in a lot of fans' minds. But when I hear Masters of the Universe, I think legit, this is the Masters of the Universe toy line that I had as a kid, and She-Ra was her own toy line. Just like that's how they're treating it now, and it is what it is there. But
I wholeheartedly disagree, but yes, go on.
Well, I'm just saying, like that's just how it worked because of the rights. I'm not saying that, you know, there is a legit good, this is how it should be versus that or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've thought about that too, because on the same level of Jesse, like, okay, revolution. Well, I'm thinking, well, the Earth goes around the sun in a revolution and all that kind of, maybe it has something to do with time. Maybe it has something to do with something other than like a revolution where it's like, you know, we're going to stand up against tyranny or whatever. But it does have that, well, they're standing up against tyranny, then it feels like the Horde should be a part of it.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, 5 episodes for that to me is just so minimal that it really should be a 10-episode story that they could tell. And I really hope, because Rob David is a part of this, I really hope he does go in there going, can we try to retell this story, what he did in the Eternia War, and go, let's try to adapt this, almost like what DC does with their animated movies and retellings of, you know, all Hush and, you know, Red Hood and all that, and do like, here's the He-Man version of that, where we're telling the new Eternia War storyline again or something, but it's done in a more concise way of how they can, you know. Or there you go, Invincible.
There's some light reading.
Yeah. Compendium 1. But
Compendium 1.
I just started, I've never read the Invincible comic. I remember seeing it, but I never read it back in the day. Obviously watched the Amazon Prime series, loved it, and, you know, as we wait 5 years for season 2, I'm like, well, the local library they've got all 3 of them, so I'm like, well, I'll get into it. And this is very good. It is also very different and very the same, and the timeline is very different. So it's kind of interesting how like this was kind of the first draft, and then when like Amazon's like, hey, let's make it into a series. Is it Kirkman? Yeah, this is Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
He took the time to go, okay, but like what can I kind of polish, or what should I have? Like, he took the opportunity to kind of redo some stuff, make it a little more interesting, mess with the flow a little bit, and definitely, at least from what I've gotten into so far in the comic, kind of highlight some characters that are kind of like an issue and done in the comic, or even not even an issue. Like, some of the guys in the television series really have important roles compared to like a scene, you know.
Yeah, and that was something when I read, I never finished Invincible, but I know reading the trades before they had the compendiums come out, I felt like Kirkman was always hamstrung by page count more than he was by story.
Right.
And there were certain parts that, they might have an emotional scene, and it might be just one page.
Yep.
Then the next page you're on to something else completely. And I like how the show can stick the landing on something like that and have a payoff better than a comic book page can sometimes, because of the, again, you know, page count, the amount of panels per page and everything. And I think that is where Revelation did something well, because they were able to have those moments between Randor and Adam, and those emotional moments really paid off well. I mean, there were fans who were 40, you know, like 40-somethings, 30-somethings, who were there watching like the scene between Randor and Adam when he turns them back into Adam from being the whole Key Man or whatever.
Yeah.
And there are grown men like, I'm sniffling and tearing up watching this because I want to call my dad, that kind of thing. Like, that's how you work it. That's how you make it good in the translation of it.
I love the idea of them kind of taking Eternity War and going like, okay, but how can we kind of polish it up a little bit and make it, a little bit more of a, have another go at it. Why not? I love Eternity War. I think it's honestly, I think it's the best He-Man comic to date. So, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think we're all excited about Revolution. We're excited for more He-Man. Between this and knowing that we will get at least the third part of the CGI and all these wonderful toys coming out, it is a great time to be a fan.
Oh, yeah.
All right, boys. I think it's time. I think I've tortured Skelly long enough. Let's give away a copy of the Power and the Honor Foundation Volume 1. So we actually had 2 entries for this. We have Mr. Skelly Vader, and then we had Scott Baker, another longtime fan. Thank you guys for supporting Matt, helping us out, and unluckily we have to decide between the two of you guys. Luckily, I have 2 co-hosts with me tonight.
Oh, I know what you're going to do.
So,
I have no idea what you're going to do.
I don't know if I'm right, but I think I know what he's going to do. Let's put it that way.
We are going to pick, and one of you will be playing for Skelly Vader, and one of you will be playing for Scott Baker.
I knew this was going to happen.
The winner will take the prize. So, we will make Skelly Vader Mr. Shiny Chase Snout Spout, and we will make Scott Baker the plain old Snout Spout. Well, you can see it when I hold my hands that way. Let me swap some more.
Gotta do this.
Yes. My hands are not as big as I thought they were. Alright, Shawn. Left hand with the ring and watch, or right hand, the plain hand?
I'll go with ring and watch. Why not?
So you will be playing for Scott Baker.
All right.
Jesse, you will be playing for Skelly Vader.
All right.
So
I'm going to do my best. I have no idea what the game is, but...
I will try, Scott. I'm
going to pull up on the screen here. I have from one of, and I forget which one. Now, neither of the boys can see this, so don't worry, guys. Only I can see what's on the screen, and you guys. So we have the Eternia trivia test from one of the issues of the Masters of the Universe magazine. So there are 15 questions here. We'll go 1 through 14, switching off.
I'm sorry, Skelevator.
They are multiple choice, at least. So, so yes, this is published right from there. I'm going to take the questions just as they are, and we'll see who gets the most points right. So, question number 1. Shawn, you picked, so Jesse, you will answer the first question, and we'll trade off, all right?
All right.
And I should probably grab a pen and paper. Luckily, I'm in a hotel room, so there's one very close. So we have Jesse, and we have Shawn. Jesse
very analog.
Playing for Skelly. I know otherwise I'm going to be like halfway through, so I'm going to be like, wait, Shawn had 2. Wait, what? And Shawn is playing for Scott. All right, we are ready. Question number 1. In the ancient days of Eternia, Castle Grayskull was called A, the Hall of Wisdom, B, the Royal Palace, or C, the Cave of the Elders.
A.
Final answer?
I mean, what it was in Revelation.
A is absolutely correct. The Hall of Wisdom. I actually have not read through these questions yet either. I'm literally taking them right from the page. So I did find that amusing that we just talked about that. See, this isn't hard, Jesse.
I did know that without you. I knew that was revealed. So, yeah.
And remember, this was written for kids in the 80s, so... Which you were.
Kids who were hardcore He-Man fans, though.
Alright.
I mean...
Question number 2, going to Shawn. Hordak was Skeletor's A, brother, B, teacher, or C, henchman?
B, teacher.
That is correct. 1-1. All right, going back to Jesse. Teela is the daughter of A, Queen Marlena, B, Evelyn, or C, Sorceress?
Can I use a lifeline?
There are no lifelines on the Eternia trivia test.
C is in Sorceress.
Sorceress is absolutely correct. 2 for Jesse, 1 for Shawn. All right, next question. King Randor met Queen Marlena when A, her shuttle landed on Eternia, B, her parents introduced them, or C, they were in training school together?
A, her rocket landed on Eternia.
Absolutely correct. 2-2. All tied up. Next question. Orko's home planet is called A, Grandy, B, Tralla, or C, Nurpo?
B, Tralla.
Tralla is 100% correct. Jesse is
I think
rolling.
a Nurpo was done to me in middle school, though. Yeah, I still don't look fondly on that day.
Man-at-Arms' first name is A, Duncan, B, Brian, or C, Ernest?
A, Duncan.
Duncan is correct.
Did you say Brian or Ryan? Not that it matters.
Brian, like the dog.
That amuses me for the fact that how many people want to see Bryan Cranston play him anyway. It's like, that was from the magazine. It's almost fated now.
All right, question going to Jesse. The Meteorbs came from the same planet as A, Orko, B, the Comet Warriors, or C, Hordak?
Alright, I'm just stabbing in the dark here. B.
B is absolutely correct. The Comet Warriors and the Meteorbs. Meteorbs. Get it? Get it?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Get it?
That's your kind of humor. I think he'd be snarfing at it right now. No, he's laid back and low-key tonight.
I'm trying not to peek out your audio.
Yeah, with the puppies, yeah.
It happens. All right, Shawn. Your favorite character. Your favorite evil leader. King Hiss is the leader of the Guardians of Grayskull, Council of Elders, or the Snake Men?
See the Snake Men.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Wah, wah, wah.
Alright, next question. I was kind of taking a glance ahead. For the last couple questions, I might mix it up a little bit. Stay tuned. To get from Etheria to Eternia, warriors must cross A, the Dimensional Gate, B, the River of Runes, or C, the Mysterious Mountains?
What was B?
The River of Runes. R-U-N-E-S. Runes.
The portal thing.
The Dimensional Gate?
Sure.
It's absolutely correct, yes! 2 different planets.
He is in his element doing this.
I love it. Alright. Next question. And if you're still tied after this next question, I am going to... Yeah. We'll mix it up maybe a little bit in a couple questions here. Stay tuned. It's my show. I can do what I want. To Shawn. The beast monster lives in A, Snake Mountain, B, the Fright Zone, or C, Viper Tower.
B, the Fright Zone.
Absolutely correct. Alright. Jesse, back to you. Modulok is allied with A, the Evil Horde, B, the Comet Warriors, or C, the Snake Men.
A.
He is absolutely a hordeman. 100% correct.
For a guy that says that He-Man wasn't his thing, you're getting a lot of these right.
Alright. Back to Shawn. One of the few Eternians who know Prince Adam's secret identity is A, King Randor, B, Man-at-Arms, or C, Manny Faces.
E, Man-at-Arms.
Absolutely. Alright. For the last couple questions here. I'm going to mix it up. No, wait. Shawn's got one more before we can make it tied again.
Wait, what?
Don't worry about it. Question to Shawn.
I just answered one. It's Jesse's turn next, right? Or am I lost?
Oh, I'm sorry, you did. I just didn't mark it down. Aha.
Ah.
Alright. So, no multiple choice for these last two questions.
Uh-oh.
Jesse. The slime pit covers warriors in gruesome ooze and makes them do the bidding of who?
Hordak.
Absolutely correct. Shawn.
Keep swinging. Maybe you'll give him a cold.
That's if I play baseball, sure.
The Evil Horde emblem is what?
As in, what does it look like, you mean? Okay.
Yes.
It is Hordak's face with bat wings on either side, and it is red.
Very good. Alright. We're all tied up.
Oh boy.
There is a question 15 on here. I think you'll both get it, even without the multiple choice. So we're gonna do a time thing, and we'll see who can answer it correctly first. I will tell you, so that you know when I'm done. The final word I will say in the question is what. So after I say, I'll say the question, what. First person to answer, their boy takes home the prize. No pressure.
No pressure.
After He-Man says, by the power of Grayskull, he says what?
I have the power.
Oh, Shawn edged Jesse out by just a hair.
What?
That was what he said. What? That I had to yell, I have the power.
Scott Baker, you have just won a copy of the Power in the Honor Foundation catalog, Volume 1. Skelly Vader.
There you go, Scott.
You don't be left out. I will get you a second place, we'll say mystery prize, because I don't know what it is yet. So,
I'm sorry.
Scott,
I got everything right.
Hey, you did. You did. I don't think
I still
anyone
lost.
can fault you for that. That was a good
Story
time.
of my life.
I should have read through those earlier, but it was a good contest. He barely beat you out. Skelly, I'm gonna get you something. Scott, send me your address. I'm gonna get your copy. It won't even be this one because I know it's a little dinged up. I well love this one. You'll have a brand new one, and it'll be coming your way soon.
Check something.
And Jesse's going to go check, and he'll be back.
Oh.
So, congratulations, guys. Thank you, Shawn and Jesse, for playing. Yeah, lots of fun.
Oh.
All right, we're back. Jesse's back. Shawn, take us into the weekend, baby.
Woo! All right. Well, if you like what we do here, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button. Do all that fun stuff. Have a comment down below. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We're always interested in hearing that. Leave us a review on iTunes or any of your podcatcher apps and things like that.
Not to interrupt you, Shawn, but I'm interrupting you. Not only hit the little stars, horseshoes, clovers, blue moons, whatever you need to, write a little something. Tell us what you love, what you hate. You tell me how handsome I am, how luxurious Jesse's hair is, how little hair Shawn has, whatever. But type a little bit too. I don't think it's too much to ask. Carry on, Shawn.
Yes, because we did notice there has been a review that made us go, well, what did we do so bad? And we don't know. So we can't solve that problem. Join us on Facebook, Legends of Grayskull podcast group, where we like to talk shop, and we actually post any news that we find out there on the interwebs. And there's tons of stuff. Oh, what the heck is that? I'm getting confused. Yeah, join us there. And until next time.
Until next time, guys, go get your Funko Soda and support Matthew Rodriguez's Kickstarter.
Oh, come on. Ah, rock. Oh, bear. Oh, bear. Oh.